Within this presentation, you will learn about establishing and leading teams within an organization. We will present a problem of practice that has occurred in one of our schools in connection with the aspects of this material. Our problem of practice involves the initiation of a strategic planning process at Trinity High School. The process was introduced after a significant change in the school's leadership and in order to examine causes as well as solutions for declining enrollment and escalating school debt. As part of this process, a diverse cross section of the school community was asked to participate in the work groups associated with the various aspects of the school dynamic. The four groups were programs, marketing and enrollment, finances, and core values and mission. Within each of these groups, there was a leader appointed by the school's principal to conduct the strategic planning process. There are 5 phases involved with leading teams: building, launching, collaborating, performing, and evaluating. While moving through these various steps, there are several different elements to consider in order to achieve the desired outcome or vision of the group. There are many definitions of what a team is, who it is comprised of, and what the purpose of both the team and leader, if there is one, should be. These 2 quotes are a great summary of those definitions. The first quote explains the function of a typical team, but we know that teams are anything but typical. Every team and team structure is different depending on the end goal of that team. The second quote discusses innovation and the idea that teams should be discovering new and innovative ways to deliver results. The purpose of a leader in this context is to allow team members the freedom to develop strategies that would best support their goals without imposing the leader's ideas on the team. With relationship to our problem of practice, each work group was made up of 3 or 4 faculty members, 2 parents, and 2 students. The steering committee for the process was made up of 2 teachers, 2 parents, the principal, and 3 members of the advisory board. Each work group was tasked with gathering data related to their area, analyzing the data to produce a list of issues and opportunities, then ranking these points and strategizing an action plan to address the issues while building upon the opportunities. Within education, innovative leadership is a process that allows for educators to try new approaches. With the ever changing nature of teaching, innovative leadership allows for there to be a sense of ownership and freedom to experiment within an educator's craft. By giving teachers freedom to experiment in the classroom, the direction of a school may change. Allowing teachers to have a voice in the development of learning models and instructional methods gives them ownership over the curriculum being taught and the direction of the school. As administrators and education leaders, it is essential to both provide an environment where teachers are comfortable trying new things and evaluating what works versus what doesn't, as well as give parameters for this exploration and experimentation to occur. Within our problem of practice, the works groups were charged with thinking outside the box in order to explore innovative ways to change the current school culture as a means to provide opportunities for growth. In order to use innovative leadership effectively in educational settings, there needs to be established timeframes for trial and evaluation of methods. This is the time box. Teachers also need to be provided with necessary resources, whether it be textbooks, technology, or professional development. Establishing an evaluation tool and scale is also essential so teachers can determine the success of different experimental models using a consistent instrument of measure. Also, giving teachers the ability to go outside the box allows for new methods and different ways of doing things to emerge. The environment needs to exist where teachers are comfortable sharing their successes and failures in this experimentation process, or else it will not provide true innovation. In forming a team, you have to first decide how the members are going to be determined. 2 ways of acquiring members for a team would be to either hand select them or ask for volunteers, and there are advantages and disadvantages of both methods. When team members are hand selected, they are strategically assigned to teams based on the wealth of knowledge, resources, and added value they bring. A downside of hand selecting team members is that leaders run the risk of excluding people in the organization who may have a genuine interest in the issue that the team is tackling. When teams are formed based on volunteers, it is understood that each person is there because they want to be and are vested in the life and success of the organization. However, not all volunteers may have the skill set needed within the team. A leader must not only determine how they are going to acquire team members, but also simultaneously decide what type of team they want to establish. There are three common types of teams. Working teams usually consist of a group of people within an organization who work together on recurring tasks in an effort to produce immediate results. Parallel teams are usually from cross-divisional or cross-departmental in that everyone is from various locations within the organization and have been grouped together to solve a specific problem or issue. Management teams are the senior level administrators of the organization who are responsible for the overall success of the organization. Our problem of practice is an example of parallel teams. Every team has a distinct management or leadership style. In a self-managing team, a team leader or leader of the organization sets the team's overall goal and plan of attack, but allows the team members to decide how to manage the work and measure success. In a self-designing team, the team members make all the decisions regarding what they are tasked to do. They manage the work and determine how the work will get done, by whom, and within what time frame. In a self-governing team, members do everything from setting the direction, designing, and monitoring and managing the work to its execution. Our problem of practice is an example of self-managing teams. Each committee chairperson and workgroup member was hand-selected by the building principal. Chairs were given the freedom to decide how their group was going to function. One of the groups, the programs group, chose to divide tasks and then report back to one another. The group set specific deadlines in phase 1 for gathering information, reviewing information, and sharing information. The group then met to set deadlines for phases 2, 3, and 4 in order to share the responsibility while working together to produce recommendations for school improvement. At each benchmark in the process, each group reported back to the steering committee as to their findings. As part of the process of building teams, it is essential to go through the creating stages. Doing so allows for a firm understanding of the purpose and responsibility of the team. Orientation gives team members an understanding of their roles. Trust building creates an atmosphere where all team members work together toward a common vision. Goal and role definition establishes the goal that the group is working toward, along with how each person will be part of reaching that goal. And commitment identifies the key benchmark points within the process. Once there is an understanding of the role and responsibilities of the group, the sustaining stages get into the nitty-gritty of the plan. The planning phase establishes timelines, assigns specific responsibilities to members of the group, and sets up the meetings, trials, and locations needed as part of the project. The implementation stage is where the timelines are met and the project comes to life. The reassessment and renewal stage serves as an evaluation of what has been done. This is where the group evaluates how successful they were, what changes should be made, and how the project can be improved. Building group dynamic and overcoming group conflicts is heavily dependent on team members. As suggested by Sheets and Gantz, team formation is a time-consuming process that should not be rushed. Leaders should be diligent when they are choosing the appropriate support staff for the organization. Choosing the right team players contributes to the mission and vision of the organization. The listed components are a few of the several factors that contribute to building teams. Forming a successful team provides the foundation of planning, preparing, and executing. With diverse backgrounds, group dynamic encourages team members to learn and work together. Conflicts arise from groups due to several factors of disparity. Though team members are all different because of individual factors, it is important for group members to know how to work together. Without overcoming conflicts, team members hinder growth and success for the organization. Within our problem of practice, there were points at which conflicts arose. There were several members of the faculty participating in the work groups who hold firmly to the school's traditions and did not see the need for a change. This sentiment was in direct opposition to the purpose of the strategic planning process, so the committee leaders had to address these conflicts of opinion in order to move the groups forward. A successful team has clear visions that correlate to the goals of the organization. Usually, the leadership develops the vision and shares this with the group members. The group leader should communicate this clearly and serve as a model to the team members. During this time, the leader should have developed a project roadmap that is shared with team members at the initial launch meeting. When the team comes together to meet, the leader should continue to refer back to the vision, reinforcing its importance. Additionally, the group members are more likely to reflect upon how their actions and their group relationships are impacting the vision. When all group members are working toward the same vision, the group is more likely to achieve success. It is essential that team members have a clear understanding of how their objectives connect with the objectives of the organization. Within our problem of practice, the established goals were to grow the enrollment of the school as well as make the school financially viable. The vision established at the onset of strategic planning was to change the culture of the school into an elite college preparatory school with a commitment to educate the whole person. The values of a team demonstrate the beliefs, code, and conduct of the group. These values can either be formal or informal, and they will dictate how the team will function. These values are agreed upon by the team and are procedures that are stable. The group leader is responsible for adhering to the values as they are considered a team member and not a superior. This adds validity to the importance of the team's values. This encourages trust amongst the team members as well as stresses the importance of each individual's efforts to team success. While many groups oftentimes experience failure, it is essential that teammates learn from their experiences. Common values include cooperation and collective contribution, frequent communication, and rewarding success. Oftentimes, groups set goals that are impossible to complete. However, SMART goals allow for teams to create goals that are attainable to meet. Integrating SMART goals allows groups to be on a plan that will allow for high team performance, creating an opportunity for success. When all team members focus on the same SMART goal, the team is likely to accomplish this goal. A SMART goal is made up of 5 components. Each component must be addressed while constructing the goal. SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Goals alone will not meet the optimal level of performance. The effectiveness of SMART goals is enhanced when each team member understands the different roles the team members play and the goal is used in context. When working in teams, groups should regularly reference SMART goals. SMART goals are flexible. Leaders should intervene to make adjustments in order to redirect teams if they are not achieving their goals. Teams should be sure to celebrate their successes along the way, keeping team members motivated. When the SMART goal has been attained and the team is disbanding, the leader can facilitate the adjournment by recognizing accomplishments and showing appreciation for team members. In relation to our problem of practice, the projected outcomes of the strategic planning process at Trinity High is to redirect the school to become a college preparatory school with a commitment to educating the whole person while providing a rigorous academic program. The projected outcome of the strategic planning process is to develop a 5-year improvement plan that will ultimately change the culture and dynamic of the school. By working in teams with leaders committed to the purpose of the strategic plan, the hope is to see a shift in the school's culture and dynamic to keep it financially viable and with a growing enrollment.